Hey everybody! It's so good to see you. Welcome to Planning Together. My name is Darian, also known as Darian Plans, and every week I invite a friend on to just share with us how they are organizing their life and their heart. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future friends. And y'all, this person tonight, I'm just really excited about. She is honestly a friend of mine. Her name is Ciara Friend, and she is the founder and creator of the Moxie Life Planner, which is a 2-in-1 weekly planner that simplifies goal setting, and it's also in the same book as your appointments and stuff. And Ciara, she lives in California with her husband and her two beautiful boys, Cameron and Reese, and they're so cute. But she is not only just a founder and a businesswoman, but she is actually a dual, I said that right, dual, not uno, but a dual life business coach. So she helps people in their life and their businesses. And so she is wonderful. And I'm so excited to share with you guys tonight. So make sure you hit that like button and light up those comments, and welcome Ciara to Planning Together. Hey, Ciara.
Hi. Hey, everyone. Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks, Darian. I was really looking forward to this. I'm excited to be with you tonight and everyone.
I'm just really excited. Everybody. Okay, so people are saying hi. We want to know where you guys are tuning in from. And tell us how you are doing, but tell us how you're doing with a number. Give us a number, how you're doing tonight with a number. So how are you doing today, Ciara?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. It dawned on me today that we're this close to August, and I can't believe it because I'm starting to gear up for August stuff, and I'm like, where did this year go? Right?
Yeah. I'm just how is July? I don't know. It's I woke up and it's now we're only 9 days left in July. It's crazy.
I know. Yeah, I'm doing good. Hey guys. Oh, hi everybody.
Hi.
We can see everyone's comments.
I know. It's so much fun. Hi, Mom. My mom, Brenda.
Oh, hi, Mom.
I see you, Mom. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Ciara, we're going to dive right in. Let's just dive right in.
Let's dive in.
Let's just do it. Y'all, I might have my tissues ready because I feel like every time I talk to Ciara, I end up in tears. Yeah. In a good way, in the best way. But I just want to know, what was your first planner?
Okay, yeah. So I have been a planner girl my whole entire life. I'm going to date myself real quick. We just talked about what my first planner was. And my very first planner, real legit planner, was a Franklin Covey, and it was in high school. And it was a horizontal one back in the day. So I've always been team horizontal. Woo woo, who's team horizontal? But my first book that I would write my dreams and my goals and stuff in was, I don't know if any of you guys remember way back in the day, back when you could buy 10 CDs for $1, and then it would subscribe to you. This, again, dating myself. Well, they used to do this with books, and they would give you a free diary. And I think I was maybe 10 or 12, somewhere in there. I remember when that first diary came, it was bright pink, and I used that thing to write down all my dreams and goals and all of my wishes and boy drama and all that good stuff. But that was my first planner. And then I actually used a Franklin Covey or a cheapy horizontal planner from Target up until my very first Erin Condren in 2014.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I was team horizontal, and you got me to be team horizontal when I seen how you laid out your weeks, with your appointments, to-dos, and gratitude. And then this month I switched to vertical.
I know.
And
then you guys make me want to try vertical, which I've already done, and I know I'm not a vertical person, but I plan the same every single week, and I'm kind of in a rut because I'm same layout each time, because I don't have time as much as I used to be more creative. I used to do planner stamping, which took forever, but I loved it because it was an amazing creative resource for me, or an outlet.
Yeah. Okay. So you use stamps. I didn't even know that was, I think it was Carrie who, when I was oh, she's stamping. And then I went through I like was a creep and like scrolled through your whole Instagram. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I never thought to like actually stamp in my planner.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a labor of love, but I loved it because I never got into stickers. But I could create my own stickers. So if I wanted something to say anything that I wanted, Kanani over at Studio LTE, she had the best stamps that had pretty much anything you could possibly think of. So I would create stickers and make them exactly how I wanted with whatever color scheme I was going to use that week. And I had so much fun, but it would take me hours, not only to just stamp, but it would take like an hour to clean those little guys.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is a labor of love.
Yeah, it was, but I loved it. And honestly, I still have them. I've thought about like doing something with them, and in the back of my mind, like I think I have a dream that like one day I'll be able to maybe play around with them again in Moxie Life. Mm-hmm. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I don't know. I'm holding
out. Okay, so I mean, I'm curious. I feel like we know the answer to this, but we still want to know, what planners are you using?
Oh, yes. Well, of course. So you guys might be surprised by this. So of course I have my Moxie Life, right? And I have it sitting here in this nice little like stand that my dear friend Carla, oh my gosh, Carla gave me for my birthday. So I get to have my goals. I sit them out like right here and I look at them. But I also I showed this to Darian yesterday. I have a May Designs notebook from 2014, back in the day when we would buy like dozens of them at a time. And I have so many I haven't used. So I actually use this. This is like my workhorse right now, because whenever I'm on a phone call with like someone for business, I'll use this for my notes, my brain dumping, like in the middle of the night. This sits next to my bed. So if I wake up and I have stuff on my mind, I'll just jot it down, ideas. And then I use this to keep track of like other things. So this is kind of like a running to-do list brain dump, like note spot. So that's that. And in the beginning of the year, actually, I had purchased an Erin Condren monthly deluxe because I wanted to have something that was just separate, that was really simple for like scheduling for Moxie Life. And I had that with high hopes that I would use that. I don't use that anymore, but at one point this year, I actually had an Erin Condren that I was using alongside my Moxie Life for business.
Okay.
Because I wanted my Moxie Life, to me, this is like my sacred place for like my heart. Like that's my life. Like I didn't want to invite like the stress of anything business or, that kind of stuff. Like I want this to be a safe, happy, like stress-free zone and as much as possible. And so anyway, that's why I wanted to separate the two.
Oh, I love that. No, I think a lot of people are like that. Like if y'all use multiple planners, please comment. But I know I use multiple planners, like maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, what's in your planner stack these days? When are we going to interview with you?
Okay, so I use, of course, my Moxie Life for. Okay, so this is how I describe it. I call my Moxie Life my main squeeze. I know that's weird, but it's like my main squeeze. And then any other planner to that, I call it's like a personal assistant. So I got into like the ring system, and so I use a cloth and paper ring. I use that for just all content planning and stuff. And then I use another ring. This is like a note ring.
Oh, yeah.
I use that for organizing like the auditions that I go on, any freelance work that I do, notes from class that I'm in. Like I keep all of that there. And then
she's all, and
then I just started using the Hobonichi cousin to track all my faith stuff. So all my Bible study notes, all my journaling, all of my prayers, all of my like just thoughts throughout the day go there, and it's all there in one place. So that's kind of what I'm using right now.
I did forget a power horse. This is old school. So I posted about this actually on Planner Friend today. So this is an old Hobonichi cover, and I'm obsessed with it. So after I was done playing around with Hobonichi, which I think I played around with for like a month and didn't ever do anything with it, I was obsessed with the paper, how soft it was.
It's super soft.
You guys, even though I own Moxie Life, I am a true planner girl at heart. Like I love planners. I don't care who makes them. I love them. And I am like, bring on more planners. Like I'm all about it. Okay, so the Tomo River paper, like the soft paper and the I have a notebook in here, and this is my journal. So I just when I am done and I fill up my whole journal, then I just put a new one in there. But this is, so talking about Hobonichi, that's, so I don't know that. The planner, I don't know. It's part of my stack though. It's part of
we'll add it to the stack. I love that someone said they called their planners their side chicks.
Side chicks and counting. I love it, Kat.
Kat, this is perfect. I love it so much.
Oh my God.
I love it. Okay, so Ciara, I want to ask you, what made you want to start Moxie Life? Like, where did the name come from, and why was it on your heart to start Moxie Life? Because one, I know you're a planner girl through and through. So what made you want to do it?
I know. Well, okay. So I know you kind of mentioned that I am dual certified life coach. Mm-hmm. So I became an official coach back in, I've got to get these dates right. I think it was 2005 and maybe 2006. So bear with me, guys. But prior to that, I was leading a team of people in the mortgage industry, which I was part of the industry. I was part of that industry back then. And I knew things were going to start getting crazy because if you could fog a mirror, they gave you a loan. And I'm like, this isn't going to be sustainable. And at the time, all of us were working so hard that there was really a huge lack of work-life balance. And so I had gone to school and was a psych major, loved the idea of working with people, wanted to do something with that. But to be really honest, I was a really awful student. Like I was a really bad student. And I knew that I wouldn't end up going to get my master's to be able to do anything with that. So it always in my heart, I knew I wanted to work with people, and kind of the mentorship role that I got to have when I was in the mortgage industry, I really loved. So at the time, I was on a fast track to hitting burnout because I was working so hard and I was not working smart. And I thought that burning the candle at both ends, and that meant success because I had, the awards and all this stuff. But it quickly started to wear me down. So at the time I had hired a business coach, and it was the first time that somebody had ever put what you guys now know as the compass. Was the first time someone had ever put down, they called it, I think, the wheel of life back then. Okay. And it was 5 areas. It was very simple because it was more business based. And I knew cognitively, I knew that all those areas were going to be really low because it was work was a 10 and everything else was a 2. Mm-hmm. But the act of doing it and actually seeing it on paper was a really big wake up call for me. So as I was working with my coach, I decided to take that information over to my team and do weekly meetings alongside the weekly meetings I was doing with my coach. So it's basically kind of handing down the information that I was learning, that process of learning. I was full effect with that. Fast forward, I ended up getting out of the industry and pursuing my life coaching and business coaching certification, and decided to work with people in that industry because I understood what their challenges were, and really knowing what their business and the personal blend, what was needed with that. And started doing accountability workshops around goal setting, because we were looking at all areas of life. Once I went to life coaching school, they focused on 8 areas of life. Okay. 7. We have 8. And what I realized was this is something that I am really passionate about. I love it. So when I started doing planning, in my Erin Condren back in 2014, if you look at my very first post, it's really, I mean, not that I judge what anyone's planner looks like, but when I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, that does not look like something that, are you going to pull it up?
I'm pulling it up.
Oh my God, it's such a far departure of how I plan now, which is so cool, right? It's we all evolve in our growth and our planning and the way we organize, every aspect of our lives. But I was and I had gotten in the habit of doing my weekly goals and monthly goals and keeping track of those for the last 10 years. As I was working with people, I literally couldn't go through life without sitting down every week and being like, okay, what am I going to accomplish this week? What's needed of me in every area of life? And so if you look at that first post, you can see how I took the top boxes and turned them. There's only 7 days in the week. So I was missing an area of life that I would have to choose each week to not focus on. But I turned those top boxes into my areas of life goals. And then I would use the other 2 boxes for appointments. And then I think to-dos was how I would use my Erin Condren. And I'm like, this isn't working for me. I need more. Like, I need more space. I need more system. I need more process. And I'm a total systems girl. Like, I love strategizing, like the most effective way to do things. And so I'm like, this isn't working for me. And I had always dreamt of creating what is now Moxie Life.
Mm-hmm.
One day, my husband and I last year, it was the beginning of the year, we had a conversation, and I had just like, it just dawned on me, and I like drew up this like real quick sketch of what I thought would be really helpful in, you know, creating, like if I was to create a product, what it would look like. And it's exactly what's in Moxie Life right now. But I'm like, there's nobody out there doing a really simple system that's in the same book as the rest of their plans. And that's really where it should be. And seeing how often people forget their goals because it's a one and done and it sits on a desk, or it's in a separate book and it gets forgotten about until, you know, they feel motivated. Maybe they'll pick it back up. But like, it's very rare when you find a system that you stick with all the time. And even Moxie Life being in your planner, there's going to be weeks where you don't get your goal setting done because that's just life. But that was kind of it. And I'm like, at the time I told him, I'm like, well, why don't we create something? Because I knew I wanted to go back into coaching. Why don't I create something that'll just be for us and my clients? So I'd hired a graphic designer, and within a week it got very expensive because I have really high standards of what I wanted it to look like. And he's like, you know, this is going to cost you a little bit more because of all these things you want me to do. And I just came to my husband one day and I'm like, I'm doing it. We're going to do it. And I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never created a product before, and we're going to do it. And I said, I'm just going to do one thing every single day. I'm going to learn something new every day, those 2 things. And I just have to trust that the path will reveal itself. And 8 months later, my planners showed up in my driveway. So that's how it started.
I love that. I love that. And so where did the name Moxie Life come from?
Okay, so Moxie has always been a favorite word of mine. It means determination, spirit, pep, know-how, confidence. Like when I think of the word Moxie, I'm like, I want to show up in my life every day with energy and pep and know-how and that determination to do what I need to do that's going to make and create the life that's best for me. And so I knew I always wanted to create something that had that word in it. It's a very popular word. And so I'm like, oh man. And so I was doing research around Moxie this, Moxie that, with the actual spelling. Everything was taken. In this technology age, you know, domains were gone and that kind of stuff. And I had looked it up, the definition, and I saw the phonetic spelling of it, which is how we use it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I love that. I love what it looks like. And it's the same word. It's just the phonetic spelling of it. And I went with it. So to like Moxie Life, to have that spirit in your life through the system was kind of really the reason why I chose that.
I love that so much. And I think because I mean, like, that's the whole purpose of this is like, how are we showing up for our life each day, like with that like same amount of energy. And so my question for you is, for someone who does not have Moxie right now, you know, like who is like trying to handle like getting ready for school, struggling, like really burdened with everything going on in the world, like how can they have Moxie, like a small dose of Moxie each day? What would you say to them?
You know, I really believe, and this is everything that I talk about in our system. And if you guys have listened to me in any of my lives, I take a different approach when it comes to goals. I think goals are very, very important. That's the anchor that pulls us forward. Those are our dreams. That's really a lot of the times where our heart lies. But in the pursuit of goals, often we miss the growth and process that happens on our way there. And even the failures and the discouragements and the hard times, that to me is where the gold is. That's where the gold really lies. And you don't need a fancy planner to experience that. So I would say, write down your goals, figure out what it is that you want, and then journal or reflect every week on how things are going. If you don't have a system that kind of pulls you through that, like we have with Moxie Life, you can accomplish a lot of the same thing if you just stop and reflect and see how things are going, what's working, what's not working, what were my wins, celebrating at least weekly. That's it has to become a lifestyle. And again, you know, our planners are great. It's beautiful, but you don't need a fancy planner to accomplish that same thing. You really don't. I mean,
I love that. She pretty much just said, y'all just get a notebook. And
yeah.
write out what
I
you
mean,
want.
honestly, like I stand by our product 100%. And it is a system that works, and having everything in one space is important. But for those of us who are planner people and we want that, and we want that nice book that we can take everywhere and it's already laid out for us and done for us so we don't have to create it, you know, of course, Moxie Life, come on over. We're like ready to welcome you. But if for some reason you can't, if we're sold out or it's not in your budget or it's not, or you have a loyalty to another brand or whatever, you can accomplish a lot of the same stuff just by going through. It's the act of being curious and reflecting and having gratitude and really focusing on growth and learning in the process. That's where the magic is. It really is. So, yeah.
And y'all, Ciara, the comments are like lighting up. Like, I know the waterworks are coming, y'all. They're totally coming. They're coming. I love what someone said. Like, well, okay, Katie just caught me out. She told me that we need to take this advice. We don't need fancy planners. Thanks a lot, Katie.
We don't need them. We want them.
We don't need them. And then someone had said, I'm trying to go back through the comments of just how Moxie Life has literally changed their, like, the way they do. I think it's Lauren. Yep, Lauren said Moxie Life has literally changed my goal setting and intentionality, and she's only been using it for 3 weeks. Okay, I love that. I love hearing your guys' comments and how you've been using it. I know for me, it's totally like changed the way that I do goals. And for me, it's the weekly action page, like just every week being able to process like these different areas and how I can show up in my life. And so, okay, now people are talking about in the comments how they're team blue and team yellow. I love it, y'all. Y'all are the best. You guys are the best. You're the best. You're the best. Okay, so speaking of that, like with Moxie Life, was there a time, like, I guess, like, what would you say to someone who, because you started your Instagram, you started Moxie Life, what would you say to someone who wants to start something or has this dream, but they're scared to do it? Or they're thinking,
yes,
there's a whole bunch of other people doing this. There's already like 10 billion planner, like other planner companies out there. There's already these other planner accounts out there. There's this, they have this dream, but they're like getting kind of stuck. What would you say to them?
Okay, first, I think it's important to know and get really clear on what is in your heart and the gift that you want to give to the world, because that's really going to be what pulls you through the hard times, because there's going to be hard times. I mean, I've had times over this last year that, I mean, borderline fetal position, trying to be like, will myself through this. In fact, my family laughs all the time because I'm always, Ciara's having a hard day when I walk around. I'm like, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. I can do hard things. And it's funny because now I'll hear say that I can do hard things. It is literally like my mantra when I'm having a bad day. I can do hard things, because you're going to have hard days and hard possibly weeks and or months. But if you are clear on what you want to give to the world, what that is, what your special, unique gift is, and then you just do it scared. Do it scared. Truly, I think sometimes we can get paralyzed by thinking too much, period. It's dangerous up here sometimes. And there's a lot of unlearning and unconditioning that we have to go through sometimes to really get to our highest level. But if we wait until we get there before we take action on anything, whatever it is, we won't do anything, which is why our planner is set up to have more, like less work in the front end, and then walk you through a lot of the reflections as you go, because it's that first step, taking that first step, it opens up your belief in what you're capable of. It opens up and starts providing back energy for you to continue going forward.
Yeah.
And I really do believe, and I've done this so many times in my life, where I've just said, I'm just going to do it scared, and the path just reveals itself. So do it scared. Do it scared.
Do it scared, y'all. If there's anything that I'm taking it away tonight, it's doing it scared.
Yeah. And here's the thing. There's always going to be competition. There's always going to be people that are doing or saying or providing the gifts and values that you want to give to the world. But that's okay. There's going to be someone who wants to hear your message, where your message is going to resonate to someone better or more because of their relationship to you or your vibe or whatever it is that they see in you may not be what they've gotten from someone else that has the same message or same product. So know that you have a space, whatever that is, and then put your head down and don't pay attention to your competition. I'm telling you, I had this conversation with Darian yesterday. We were on the phone for what, 2.5 hours?
Yeah, it was 2.5 hours.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We talked forever. By the way, we have a big announcement at the end of this because of that. But put your head down and don't pay attention to what other people are doing. Stay in your lane, and you just be so determined and unapologetic in your pursuit of your dream that you don't worry about what anyone else is doing, period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A whole word, y'all. A whole world. Yes. Oh my God. Someone said we need a Moxie life retreat. I'm going like,
yes.
Jen said that. Did Jen say that? Who said we need a Moxie life retreat? Say it again. We need a Moxie life retreat. I've been seeing that in the comments because I think that needs to be a thing.
You guys, events were what I did for majority of the time that I was doing coaching. Oh yes, Jennifer.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you guys, events are everything to me. We have big plans for events and that kind of stuff. So we got to slow grow.
Also talking about slow growth. Okay. So let's talk about that for a second.
Let's talk about slow growth.
Let's talk about it because it's so hard. I know I get so caught up in the frenzy of like hustle, gotta grind. Especially in the entertainment industry, which is, now on a whole with COVID and stuff, but how do we like embrace like slow growth? Like for someone who, talk to me for a second, for someone who struggles with slow growth, like how do I take the time to like not, again, you said it, like focusing on the competition or like whatever, but like just how do we embrace slow growth when we live in a world that is opposite of that?
It's hard. And honestly, this has been something I really struggle with. In fact, in my 20s, I ended up seeking a therapist around this one topic. And at the time I had was doing really well at in loans when I was in the mortgage industry. And in my mind, I had arrived to where I had hoped that I would get. So there I am, and I would wake up every morning and still feel as empty as I felt even in the absence of the success that I had been working so hard for. And I remember going into my session with my therapist, and literally in the first 10 seconds I was there, he's like, "So why are you here?" And I'm like, I feel like I've got everything that I want, but I'm still not happy. And I realized, and it was funny because I was starting to talk about something, and so he slams this is a therapist, by the way, that I have had and who's now become a mentor of mine over the last 20 years. He slams his clipboard down. If there's little kids, mute, because I'm about to say a bad word. He slams it down and he stands up. Now, I had just met the dude, and he's like, "I call bullshit." And I was like, whoa, what is going on? And he's like, "You're smiling when you're telling me a really sad story." And I was like, how dare you question my smile, my facade? And then I burst into tears because nobody had ever asked me, "Ciara, like, what's behind your smile?" And I say this because we are conditioned, it's our society, that we are supposed to achieve and do and have all these things and the nice, pretty home and do all this stuff I feel women especially have that role for so many different areas. Men also are expected to achieve, but I don't feel like the burden is as far and wide as women experience. So it's all that input that we're constantly getting, that this is how we're supposed to be. Yet we're not happy when we get there. And this is why you will also see me not put a lot of emphasis on goal achievement in a lot of my dialogue and a lot of our marketing and that kind of stuff, because yes, it's important. And that's why we're all here doing goals and that kind of stuff. But again, it's the process and becoming, learning and growing and becoming better. But it took me years, and this is still something that I work with, that slow growth is okay. Because again, we're like, well, look at what everyone else is doing. I should be there. You shouldn't be doing anything. You should be exactly right where you're at, owning your process, owning your worth, owning your gifts, learning more, literally making your growth and learning your number one priority. And if you do that, then all the other stuff doesn't really matter. And so I have to remind myself, I'm like a recovering overachiever. And I say that all the time. I'm literally a recovering overachiever. And it's hard. I've learned through the years ways to slow myself down, ways to talk myself off the ledge, and how to get out of that mental mind chatter that says, I should be doing more or doing something different, especially when you focus on what other people are doing. But honestly, head down, guys. If there is somebody or something that makes you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, then turn it off, unfollow, delete, spend less time with them. Info diet. Do not let yourself go there. That's the best way. Don't even go there. Just unplug it.
Info diet.
Yes. Info diet. I'm doing a lot of that these days just to keep my sanity. God.
I love that. An info diet.
Yeah.
I'm totally, yes.
I can't take credit for it. I think that's a Tim Ferriss, like old school 4-hour work week, like thing. But yeah, I love it. It's like everything I live by now.
Oh my goodness. And I love that. I think this is Taylor from Tattoo Teacher Plan says that I love that you focus on the process. It takes the pressure off and I can just do the work and learn the lessons. Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah. It takes so much pressure off. Ciara, I know not a lot of people know this, but I would love for you to share. I think again, like we've been talking about, it's so easy to get on Instagram and Facebook and to see someone's highlight and to see them, at the mountain peak. But my question for you is, like, I know that it has, I know that it has not always been an easy journey. And so my question for you is, can you talk about kind of like how your upbringing has impacted the way that you are today, essentially? A question that I got multiple times in my inbox on Instagram was, how is she so awesome? And so I think I would love it if you could share a little bit about kind of like your upbringing and how like that has impacted the way in which you set goals, and kind of your heart for Moxie life as well.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. Okay. So hopefully I won't cry, but I'm a crier. So I don't think I will. You guys, I never talked about this. This was something I never talked about. I didn't feel, for some reason, again, going into that, like how we're supposed to be, I didn't feel like there was room for this part of me as I was achieving, again, trying to make myself be better and do more. And it's only in the last probably 5 years that I've really started to embrace all of the bits, right? All of it, embracing my story and realizing, wait, no, that's the reason why I am the way that I am. One of the things that I'm always conscious of is every time I post something, or, we go on vacation or we do something, because I'm very blessed right now, but it hasn't always been that way. And I never want to give the impression that I have it all together, or that I've always had it all together, or somehow this has always been my reality. We've worked very hard to have what we have, but I grew up with a single mom. We moved more times than I can even count. I went to more elementary schools than I can count. And my mom struggled with alcohol and drug addiction my entire life. There was times because of her behavior, oftentimes it would ostracize us from our family, who I had a very extended family that was always there for me. And see, look at me, I'm running out of breath. You guys, this isn't easy to talk about sometimes, but it's important, and I totally embrace this. But it was very dysfunctional is the best way to describe it. So oftentimes I felt like I was kind of on an island by myself. I was the older, I have a little brother who is 6 years younger than me. So from a very young age, I became the responsible one in the family. And I remember crying myself to sleep as early as like 8 years old, thinking I was put in the wrong family. Like, this isn't what I'm supposed to, this isn't how life is supposed to be. So I remember from a very young age feeling like I was destined for more. I really, truly had that belief. And I don't know where that came from. I don't know if it's just, an inherent thing that I, after having kids, I realized you kind of show up on this planet with like your inner workings, like that nature versus nurture thing. So I don't know, but from a very young age, it was something that I was always, I guess, striving and wanting more, and knew that in order to get there, I was going to have to think and do outside of what I experienced every day on a day-to-day basis. I would have to do and act in ways that were different from the immediate sphere of influence that I had. So when I would go, we lived in an area that had the pendulum swung very far and wide from, poverty to extreme wealth. And we all kind of went to school together. And so I naturally had friends from all walks of life. And when I would go to my friends' houses that had nice things, I remember looking around and I would look at the behaviors of their parents, and I would notice what kind of jobs they had. And I would think, okay, there's more to life than what I saw every single day. And that has become something for me that not only do I live that every day, but that's something that's very near and dear to my heart, which I know we'll talk about later, of becoming and having and spreading that message out to other at-risk youth. That's something that I really, really want to do. But anyway, at some point, I think it was 5th grade, my mom lost jobs due to, again, alcohol and drug abuse, and we ended up homeless. I lived in a homeless shelter. And I remember it was over Easter. We spent Easter at a park that was sponsored by our homeless shelter, and I won the Easter egg hunt, and the local newspaper was there and wanted to take a photo of me for this amazing story about what the shelter was doing for these families. And I was crying because I'm like, no, my friends are going to see me in this picture. And I was horrified, thinking they're not going to like me. They're going to make fun of me. It was awful. And somehow someone ended up finding out about it. And sure enough, people were making fun of me and saying, oh, you're homeless. And it was really awful. It was really, at the time, it was just it really was a really horrific experience. But basically, it was always really hard. And then all the way through junior high and high school, I lived at home with my mom at times, and starting at age 12, I started living with family members and other families that brought me in. And after 14, I never lived with her again. So, it was something that I almost didn't graduate high school. That was another thing too. My high school grades were awful because there was nobody there saying, hey, Ciara, spend time, doing the things that you need to do. I was worried about where I was going to lay my head at night. So I ended up graduating. My junior year, I actually dropped out of high school, and because life had gotten so stressful, and I missed an entire second half of my junior year as far as credits went. And something dawned on me one day. I was just literally at the depths of anything that I have ever experienced, even to this day. And I didn't think I was going to be able to make it. And I remember thinking, Ciara, pull your head out of your ass. If you want something different, do something different. You have to make different decisions, period. And it was the first time that it really resonated with me. And I thought, I have to do something different because I know where I'm going. I see it. I lived it. This is what these decisions are going to lead me down the same path of where my mom is. And I'm going to have that. I know exactly where this story is going. And so I went in the next day to talk to my high school counselor, and she was like, Ciara, by the way, I was also yearbook editor. I was on student government my junior year. So it was like a fall from grace for me to go from that to dropping out of high school. I mean, it was talk about rumors and drama, and at the worst time of your life when you're a budding, young adult, it's like the worst thing ever. And so anyway, my counselor said, I will make this happen. Here's what we need to do. Here's all the credits that you need. I ended up going to the local junior college, and I not only took summer school 2 classes, but I took a full 12 units that summer at the junior college because they had high school enrichment classes, which those units were like triple what they would be in high school. And then she created a zero period for me my senior year. During brunch and lunch, I would go into another class and earn more credits, and then I took another 12 units for the rest of my senior year. So that's how I spent my entire senior year, and then I walked across the stage with my classmates. Oh, see, this is truly, that's when I realized that I can do anything. And see, I knew I would cry on here.
Okay.
And ever since then, I'm like, if I can do that with the little bit of true like confidence and know-how, like truly believing in myself, then I mean, like when you're 16, do you really know what, like who you are? I'm like, if I can go through that then, and I could do that without support and someone doing, I literally did it on my own. I knew I could do anything. And so that's been the basis for pretty much everything I've done in my life.
First off, like everyone's saying in the comments, thank you for sharing. I know that's something that you haven't really shared before, and so I really appreciate you doing that. I'm just over here speechless because when you said so many like just important things, but if there's one thing that I got is that like it's important that we all own our stories.
Yeah.
Whoever is watching this live or after catching the replay, I just want to let you know that your story matters. Your life matters. And like she's been talking about, like we need your gifts, we need your talents, and we need you to show up. And so I think that's the whole purpose of planning together is, I mean, we come together because we have these goals and we have these dreams and we're trying to do these things. But it's so important in the process that we remember that our life matters. And, and don't keep your story to yourself. Like we want to hear it. Like, thank you so much for sharing that, Ciara.
Like, well, and too, I mean, it's in our challenges, it's in the things that break us or almost break us that create our depth. That's where we are able to meet other people where they're at. If it wasn't for the stuff that I've gone through, I wouldn't be able to be as effective as a coach and really meeting people where they're at with no judgment at all. And, you could pretty much tell me you're at the bottom of the barrel and I'll be like, you can get out of that. Like, I really believe that. There is no bullshit from me on that. And I truly, truly, truly stay in that space no matter what all the time. And when I realized that it's because of that, that's what shaped my heart, which is what is hopefully what I'm giving in my, what I'm doing today. It's like the more that you can embrace your story and all of those challenges, the better you are. And who has time for no, we don't have time. The older I've gotten, the more I realize I don't have time to worry about what people think of me. I'm sorry, but all of me is beautiful and amazing. And if you don't like it, bye.
You don't like it, bye. Y'all heard it here. If you don't like it, bye.
Because that's really what we're all worried about, right? Like sharing our story. What's someone going to think of me? No, like own that story and share it, because I promise there's going to be someone along the way that hears that and gets inspired or has hope or feels like something's possible. I wish I could see all these comments. Like, I have to go back through these.
Yeah, you can go back through them. Y'all, I agree. I'm just like reading the comments and it's really hitting home for a lot of people. I think because I really want to make time for question and answers because people have some questions and I know people have a ton of questions for you. But before we get there, I want to know now, how has this impacted where you want to take Moxie life?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So So, every time I talk about this, guys, I get full body chills and tears. That's when I know this is my big why. This is my big thing. So, Darian asked me this yesterday, and I'll know I've arrived when we can have a Moxie Life conference helping people write their goals and really like dig deep and find out like what is in their heart. And I told Darian this, I want the first 2 rows of this conference to be empty, and we will have organized somehow who is going to be in the front, but they're going to come out on stage and we're going to introduce them as like the VIPs of the entire conference. And they're going to be at-risk youth, teen girls from, I don't know, local area or whatever. And they will be paired up with mentors with Moxie Life for a year, people who want to donate their time, and we will give them products and love them up and make their lives better. And they get the front row seats because they are the most important. And that's when I can sit on that stage and hold that space for them, I will have arrived. See, here comes the tears. So that's my big why. When I can make an impact in the lives of teens who are at that really pivotal point in their lives, just like I was, that you have someone that's holding that space for you for something other than what you experience and what they believe is possible. That's what I want. So should we talk about our announcement now?
I don't know. I wanted to. Do y'all want to talk about the announcement now? We'll see in the comments. I feel like we might as well.
Wait, what?
I feel like we might as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and share what the announcement is, and then we'll go into the question and answer, because I have questions and I know people have questions and all that. So
a real 10-second quick backstory. Darian had reached out to me a couple months ago saying that she was interested in doing coaching and wanted to know more about my story. And we just got started in this conversation that has been going ever since. And as you guys all love her, I do too. We love her energy. She's amazing. And one of the things that we share is our passion is to impact other people positively, have impact in this world. So Darian is going to be coming on board with Moxie Life as the community development coordinator, and she's going to be working with our group, with our community in the Facebook group, and coming up with fun stuff just to kind of make things more fun with us. But she and I are also going to be building out a mentorship program, and it's going to be the seed that's being planted for down the road, the people that hopefully who want to participate in that big dream that we have. So it's going to be, you guys, this is, okay, talk about doing it scared. The other thing I was going to say is you don't have to have the plan all together. Just begin. That is on our planner everywhere. Just begin. So we're just beginning, and we're going to see where I'm like, let's just get the people on the bus and we'll see where this bus is going. So we are planting that seed now, guys. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet, but it's going to be awesome, whatever it is. That's all I know.
It's just going to be awesome, whatever it is. I love it. We don't know where the bus is going, but I was really, really, really happy. It was like, I had been messaging my mom and my friends guess what I get to do? I'm so excited. So yes.
And we're going to have fun doing it too, which is awesome.
Yes. It makes a difference, which is just, makes my heart so happy. Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm throwing you a party. Yes, Kat. Please let's have a party. I'm looking for any reason to celebrate. Y'all. So if you have any questions at this time, I would love for you to put them in the comments so we can ask Ciara. This might be over an hour, but some of y'all said let's make it a little bit longer, so that's fine. That's totally fine. But unless Ciara has to leave, but we're not gonna go too long. But if you have any questions, put them in the comments so I can see them. And then I'm going to bring up just a few questions that I know people had sent me. Yes, after COVID. That's when we'll have the party, after COVID. My phone is blowing up. I love it. Y'all are the best. Okay, so this was a good question. Who were the people in your corner who cheered you on to help you take Moxie Life from a dream to a reality?
Oh gosh. Okay, well, first and foremost is my husband, and I do not give him enough public recognition, but there's literally not a person on this planet who believes in me more than that man and is willing to do whatever it takes to help pave the way to do what we're going to do. Like, he is truly, and never once has ever questioned, like, are you sure? Or he's like, girl, you do it. Like, he is in my corner cheering me on, and he has like wiped off the blood, sweat, and tears more times than he probably wants to. But you know, his family has also been very supportive. I was very lucky to have found an amazing man and an amazing family, and they're all very supportive. So my mother-in-law, I don't know if she's here tonight, but she is also another one who's been in my corner. And then, you know, honestly, you guys, the planner community, I would not, the Moxie Life would have zero. We have spent $0 on advertising. And it's because I came from the planner community, and all of you guys are my friends. You guys, I care about you. We're all just in this really awesome space supporting each other. And, you know, the affiliates and people that you guys see every day talking about Moxie Life, on the back end, like in private conversations, the support and the love has been always coming. It's been constant. So honestly, the planner community is like, and you guys know who you are. There's a lot. I love you guys. I know I see that you're in here.
I love that. Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so yes, y'all, these questions. Okay, this is a really good question. I want to know what Ciara's Enneagram number is.
I'm so embarrassed to say I have no idea. I've never taken it. Okay, so to my defense, I think I ended up on like I did a Google search one day, and like I looked it up, and I think I did the test, and it didn't make any sense to me. And honestly, life has been so crazy this last year that I didn't have a chance to like really dig too deep into that, but I will look into that and I will let you guys know. I'll post it to Planner Friend.
Yes, I have my thoughts, but we're not supposed to tell people what we think they are. They're supposed to figure out on their own.
Okay.
So I'm gonna like
I'll put that on my August goal.
Yes, well, I'm gonna send you a text message and be like, don't forget to take the Enneagram.
Okay. What are you?
I am a 7, and if we're talking about the wings, I would be. This is where I struggle with my wings. I'm probably a 7 wing 6, but there's moments where I need to be a 7 wing 8. So you're probably like, what are you talking about? You're speaking gibberish.
I know. I have homework to do. I do.
Okay, this was a great question. Was how do we move from grace to action when it comes to achieving our goals? We always talk about how do we, because I'm also one of these people too, where I give myself maybe a little bit too much grace. And so how do I move from that place of, okay, now it's time for me to kick it into gear and go into action?
Yeah. So my experience in working with people one-on-one, because I know how I am, I tend to, I'm a procrastinator. I do really well when I'm under pressure. So unfortunately, I kind of tend to default to saving everything to last minute. And when it's a arbitrary like deadline or goal that you set for yourself, you can keep moving that goalpost further and further. And so what I recommend is that you state it. So first of all, always writing it down is really important, but don't just stop there. If you know that you're one of those people, or you keep having those goals that keep repeating and they're not getting done, first of all, are you actually really committed to them? And in the beginning of the planner, we talk about like there's I think there's like 10 questions of things to go through and make sure if there's any of those that don't apply to that specific goal, then there's probably a misalignment with like truly how much you really want it or how committed you are. And so what I recommend is if it passes that test, then to state it out loud, especially if it's something that's really important, whether it's you're sharing with your spouse or a friend, or you go online and you make the declaration that you're going to, lose 50 pounds, or you're going to start this business, or you're going to start this blog or whatever. Make the announcement to do it, and then find an accountability partner. And so sometimes for me, like I know I'm someone who does best when I've hired a professional. to kind of knock me around a little bit, because I can be like heels in the ground about a lot of stuff and think I'm right. And I'm like, no, I'm good. But like, I need to hire someone to be like, no, you're not. Like, you need to keep going. So whether that's a personal trainer to help me, which I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, personal trainer to help you fit your goals or hit your goals, or if it's a life coach to help you, to do that, or a therapist to work through stuff that's maybe holding you back, whatever that is. So whether you have the resources to have a professional help you, or find an accountability partner or friend or someone that either is, someone who motivates you and is going to hold you to it. Someone you can't talk your way out of it with, right? Oh, I just didn't have time. I'm busy. You need someone to be like, no. What are you going to do today? Like, what are you going to, like, you yesterday, you're like, when are we meeting next? And like, it around it a little bit. And I was like, and then she's like, no, seriously, when are we meeting? I love it. You need someone like that. So if the action isn't inherently coming from you, find something outside of yourself that'll pull you forward, because we get in our own way all the time, period.
I love that. Another one was, and this is a good one, how can we embrace the white space without feeling like a failure or wasteful?
By committing to growth and learning above achievement. It's really, I know I'm simplifying it. If you focus on the end result, or being a certain way, or the picture, or that, that thing, whatever that is, that whatever's registering in your head, I'm being wasteful, or I'm a failure, or whatever. If that's your focus, you'll always be measuring yourself up against that. So just the simple reframe and shifting of your mindset of, I'm going to embrace the process. For example, it says, feeling wasteful. Let's say a lot of us have a hard time giving ourselves quiet time or downtime, especially, if there's lots of laundry and lots of things going on. If you are committed to the process and saying, and for your growth and learning, I'm going to take care of me right now, because in this moment, that is the most important thing, than to achieve or do or accomplish or check that off or whatever that is, then it makes it a lot easier. It's still not always easy, but it's a lot easier. So again, just commit to growth and learning, being the best version of yourself and the best output of yourself in that moment.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. This is a good one. How did you know when you needed to become a recovering overachiever? I tend to wear my perfectionism almost a badge of honor, but it can cause more stress than anything. Girl, I feel this. Listen, I'm with you.
Yeah, I know, right? So I still deal with perfectionistic tendencies. Again, recovering. For me, mine was a little bit more extreme than most, but I fully crash and burn and hit burnout. And that's when I realized, oh gosh. And I, at the time, was again seeing my therapist, and he really walked me out of like, hey, your worth is not attached to what you do. And we had to do a lot of like unwinding around that. And so it was a process, and it's not something that is easy, and it's painful, and it's scary. And I know for me, when I stopped that particular profession, which everyone knew me at a certain level, and then now I was like going back to school, and I remember thinking, who am I? And I had a really hard time answering that question without filling in the blank with, here's what I do, or here's what I've done, or here's what I've accomplished, or whatever, to know. So I had to get really clear with who I am. It took a lot of therapy. It took a lot of journaling, a lot of digging deep, a lot of reading books. But again, going back to growth and learning, I had to relearn my worth outside of myself. What was in here? That's where it starts. And then, obviously there's more to it than that, but that's exactly where it starts. So, be gentle with yourself. If that's hard, dig deep as to why, because we learned this from somewhere. There was either some kind of input we got as we were growing up that, I'm only going to give you attention or think you're good if you do this, or in the absence of that, you don't get attention or feedback. And so we've learned that. So we have to unlearn that and actually kind of learn to love ourselves in a different way, in a way that we maybe weren't shown growing up, and kind of start to learn how to reframe the meaning that we make around what we do with our times and achievement and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers that. It's kind of like, it's big, but yeah.
Sorry, my alarm's going off, y'all. No, I think that answered it really well. And I totally, listen, I think that I see that hit home with a lot of people, especially like your worth not being tied to what you do.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. Another one that came in today was, and I would love for everyone to put in the comments the answer to this is, how do you know when a planner isn't working for you anymore, and how do you let it go?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I feel like this might be obvious. If you're not using it, if you feel like it's like a huge effort to do it. Now, that said, a caveat to that, I know for me personally, everything feels really hard right now. Like 2020, sitting down sometimes and doing anything that's disciplined that I used to do takes a lot of effort. So I would say extend a lot of grace with yourself around anything right now. But under normal circumstances, and I've been there, I've had other planners that I've had that, they just maybe didn't resonate with me for any single reason. I always say this: go where the energy goes. What feels good to you? If something doesn't feel good, you're not excited about it. It doesn't create a space for you to be your best self, to live your best life. I mean, that's what a planner is to organize our lives, to plan our lives. And if you are in a space where that becomes negative and on any level, whether you're doing it or you're not doing it, then it's time to maybe look at other options, whatever that is.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, these comments are awesome. When I feel unmotivated, when I don't pick it up, when it feels like a chore.
Yeah.
When I'm planning in it because I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Energy. It's like what feels good. Like if you are motivated to do something. And again, motivation is like it's a rare commodity these days because of all of the stress and strain. And a lot of us are really struggling with time and energy resources. And so anyway, yeah, I become unmotivated. It feels like a chore. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Katie.
Yes. Okay. And then this was another question that I got in, and I also found your planner pick. I'm going to show them this real quick. This was her first, where she talked about having the breaking down the weekly. Oh my God. I love it though. You made it work.
I did. I'm tenacious. I will make it work. That was what I like. The boxers are this big, but I will make it work.
I love it. Sometimes you gotta make things work. Okay. On an average, how many goals should you be working on in a quarter?
This is a great question. And part of the reason why you see a lot of open space in Moxie Life, because in working one-on-one and in groups, there is no one right way, or like each person does their goals incredibly different depending on who it is. I personally write down to the most micro action on my goals. Like my annual goals are the whole box is full and in each area of life. And my husband, on the other hand, needs only like a couple because otherwise his brain feels overwhelmed. So this is I feel like the answer to this really depends on the person. I would say this, we have 3 goals that I focus on with our system. This is also not in our planner this year, you guys, but it will be for 2021. But the 3 goals that we focus on are stretch goals. Those are the big goals that take you outside of your comfort zone. Those are the ones that feel scary when we set them. Those are the really big overarching goals that require a lot of planning and effort, and sometimes a lot of mindset shifting in order to accomplish them. I recommend only doing anywhere from 1 to 3 of those a year. Doesn't matter what area of life they're in. The next goal that we do or we talk about are those small goals. Those would be smaller ones that do require planning, but they'll take us from where we're at to where we want to go in that area of life. They do require a little bit more effort, but they're not as scary. And then there's the maintenance goals. Those are goals that keep you where you're at so that, if you were to stop doing those things, that your number or your rating in that area of life would start to decline. All of those are incredibly important. So with that question, it's hard to say. It's not like there's not a number. There's not a number. It's where you're at, where you feel comfortable, what you're currently working on. You may say, the only thing that I really want to focus on this quarter is that one stretch goal because it is so incredibly important and it's very time and energy consuming. That is what I'm working on the most. And then everything else is going to be maintenance goals so that I maintain the rest of my life while I'm, chasing this dream. Then that's going to be what works for you. But it's hard to put a number on how many of each one you're supposed to have because everybody's situation is totally different. That's why I say trust the process and trust yourselves when you're in these pages, or whatever system you're using. Do what brings you joy and what feels good. There's no shoulds, and there shouldn't be any shoulds in any goal setting system that make you feel bad if you're not doing it right. So it takes time to learn how to do this, and it takes practice. So as you're learning how many goals you should set per quarter or per month or per week, play around. Be willing to make a mistake. Be willing to give yourself way too many goals 1 month or 1 week or not enough, and to learn from that and be like, oh, okay, I didn't get anything done. Now I know I can't do that because it felt really stressful and it was not fun. So then you go and you swing the pendulum to the other side, and somewhere along the way, you're going to find what your equilibrium is. And that is, whatever that is perfect, even if it's different from someone else.
That's such, yes. You're awesome. And also this was earlier. Do you do your own nails? Your nails are like I don't want to show my nails, but your nails are so like perfect. Do you do them yourself?
No. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's red aspen. And you guys, I've been using these. I started with the drugstore brands, the glue-on nails. Back in May of last year, and I'm obsessed. It's literally, it takes me 5 minutes to do them. And no, I do not sell them. If you want who I buy them from, DM me on Planner Friend and I'll send you the link. But I swear they're so perfect, and they last for like 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks.
That's the secret, everybody, because I know that was
especially sheltering in place. There's no nail salons open in California, so.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I have 2 more questions that I got through Instagram. And then while Ciara answers these questions, I want y'all to be telling us what has been your biggest takeaway from tonight's conversation. Okay, so please comment. We want to know. But the one question is, are there any sneak peek news of new products, like a daily planner maybe, or that's what was left?
As we were talking, I saw the DHL van pull up, and I was like, so what showed up. All of our fall products, all the samples, like the final products with our final materials are on my doorstep right now. And I'm really excited about this. I am so excited. And no, you guys, I'm not showing you. Sorry, I love you, but you don't get to see it until right before launch. You guys have totally, in the group, have talked me into sharing way more than I was planning on doing, but that's all you guys get for now. Okay, so yeah, I'll tell you this. So in fall, and I haven't fully announced this yet, but in fall we will have our flagship planner, which is, the wire coil. I know you guys are not crazy about this coil, but we did buy the best quality, and I get it. I personally don't care. It doesn't bother me. But we are shopping standard coils for you guys who are really wanting that. It won't be something, I'm not quite sure. I actually am not going to make any promises about that, but it wouldn't be till next year anyway. But we will have our flagship planner, vertical and horizontal, 4 covers this year, 2 artist series. So there's 2 artists that we're featuring, which is awesome. And there's a little bit of something for everyone. Darian's seen the covers. Would you say there's a little bit of something for everybody in the cover choices? Yeah. And then let's see. And you guys, this is what I'm most excited about. Here's the thing. being a planner girl, I get when you have a planner that's working for you and switching to a whole new planner, it's hard. It is not easy. Like all of you who are using Moxie Life, like I love you guys. You guys have made a huge change. Like I get that. Like I so get that. But at the same time, like I didn't want Moxie Life to just be like a one product company. I do believe that goals and your plan should be in the same book, but they don't have to, it doesn't have to look a certain way. And so I came up with the idea to come up with quarterly companion notebooks for you brand loyalists out there who have a planner that you love and use, but you want Moxie Life system and you want to be a part of the Moxie family and use our goal setting system. This notebook will fit inside. Should I grab it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll do it at the end. I'll do it at the end.
Grab it up.
I will show you guys. I have a sample. It's not exactly what it's going to look like, but you guys will kind of see. But it will just be our goal setting system. It'll be a monthly calendar. So an undated monthly calendar, monthly goals, weekly actions, and a notes page every week. It's an A5 size. Very similar to any like sewn notebook that, that you guys know and love. Except it'll be perfect bound instead of sewn stitched. And those will come in a pack of 4. Those will be available in fall. And you can stick those puppies in the pocket of whatever planner you're using. And then we are also in the process of developing our first a daily that will be hopefully released in mid-2021.
Y'all, I'm so excited.
And don't ask me any questions about that because honestly, you guys, we are just now like doing like sketches. If you guys have anything specific that you would love to see on a daily, message me, okay? You guys, I designed all of these layouts with help from like Julie's plans. She helped me design the vertical layout that we have. I take your guys' feedback very seriously. And my goal, hopefully, my big wish for this, for Moxie Life and our product base, at least as far as the product base goes, is that we're able to meet every planning style with our goal setting system. So if, eventually a lot of you guys have asked, will we come out with discs and that kind of stuff, or inserts? Yes, those are all on my list, but because you guys, we're not even a year old yet. I'll be a year old on August 3rd. We don't have enough market share to come out with a bunch of dated products without, breaking the bank. And so we slow grow. But I hear you and you're on. I have you in my head and I fully intend on doing everything we can to meet you guys where you're at instead of making you guys have to use a wire coil if you absolutely hate it.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Y'all, I love seeing all these takeaways. Julie said my biggest takeaway, literally everything. I needed so much.
Love you, Julie.
We love you so much. Jennifer said, own your story, break the pattern, self-worth. The list goes on.
Yes.
Biggest takeaway. I need more Ciara in my life. Amen. We all need more Ciara in our life.
Oh, I love you, girl. Thank you.
Believe in what you have to offer.
Yes, absolutely.
My biggest takeaway, if you want something different, do something different. Yes.
Yeah.
So many takeaways. I think for me, I needed to hear that it's okay to be on my own path. I'm where I need to be. I struggle with that all the time. I am in the same boat with you. I struggle with that so much. Yes, I think for me, that was my biggest takeaway is that I'm on my own path. Yeah. And I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm with you. I'm with you.
All of that energy that you have spent, even subconsciously, thinking about how you compare to others or where you should be, those shoulds and all that stuff, and put it more towards like your self-love and self-acceptance and really honing in on that growth and learning for yourself so that you can become better. Like that's everything.
Oh, I love that so much. And then the last one that I see is my takeaway to pick one thing I want to change and set goals to change it. I love that. I think that's something we all can take away, especially if we're just getting started. It's just pick one thing and start there.
Yeah.
Y'all, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Ciara, did you want to grab it real quick?
I need to figure out where it's at. Okay, I'll be back.
If you guys want to stay to see what it is, you can stay. But y'all, thank you so much for joining us tonight and just being on here. You guys seriously are the absolute best. I love y'all so much. I'm so excited to see like the actual oh gosh, she brought it, y'all. It's here.
Also, I totally forgot. We're going to have accessories too. We'll have a sticker book. I'm in the process of manufacturing and figuring out, this is not as easy as you would think, a snap-in bookmark with this a stencil that you can use in your planner. So anyway, we're coming up with, and I'm developing a lot of stuff, Post-it notes, like other fun things. Those may not be available in fall, but they will be coming out, and everything will be functional and have a purpose and like plug into your planning like really easy with a lot of flexibility. So that's like what my main goal is for everything that we have. Okay, you guys ready? You guys only get to see the cover. Really fast. And it says, just begin. So there'll be 4. There'll all be different colors, and each one has a different gold foil quote at the bottom. That's a Moxie Life philosophy quote. And yeah, and then the insides, I won't show you yet. But it's pretty much what is in our planner, just minus the weekly spreads. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, and thank you for joining. Y'all, if you're not already, you can follow Ciara at Planner Friend on Instagram. And if you want to learn more about Moxie Life, I put it in the description box. If you're interested in the planner, just click the links there. And if not, I know my people in my comments will totally drop the links to Moxie Life as well. But y'all, thank y'all so much. Y'all are fantastic. We love y'all so much. Thank you. Y'all have a good week. I'm giving you a big virtual hug.
Love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Hi guys. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go back and read all these comments. I'm so excited. Can I read them after? How does this work? All right.
I'll explain to you.
All right. Bye guys. Bye.